Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Before I became a rabbi, I spent a year doing social justice work in Nepal. And during that year, I was working with Israelis and with Jews from all around the world, and we were doing humanitarian work. But as part of it, I also became more passionate about Judaism. And when it came to that time of year, I decided to lead a Yom Kippur retreat. And we had it where? At a Buddhist monastery high up in the mountains above the clouds. Very, very beautiful. And so we did our thing. We didn't have to worry about food because it was Yom Kippur. And some of them were completely secular Israelis and didn't know almost anything. But they were very open in this space. And there was one moment where we did the Shema together, which many of them did not know, and led a little bit of silence and meditation. And it really changed something. And everybody was silent afterwards. And for me, it made me think, I think I want to be doing more of this, leading leading Judaism. And I know for many of the secular Israelis, not just that experience, but other experiences they had that year, coming from homes where there was no religion, but they did Shabbat on the rooftop of the building where we all lived with a rabbi who was there. And some of them began to attend services on the beach on Friday nights in Tel Aviv, or finding Kabbalat Shabbat groups around where they lived. And they did it in their own way. That was authentic to them. But it opened the door, and it was transformative. And I remember having a conversation with them, and I was saying, this is what Judaism is about. Forget all the dogma in Israel and everything. This is what it's about. And it's really what it's always been about. We see in our portion, the portion of the Ten Commandments, the Jewish religion is born there, and the people are born there, and all children of Israel stood at the mountain, and it shook, and they heard the divine voice speaking to them. And this was the Ten Commandments. And this were the foundations of the new nations. And we know what they were. I am Adonai, you shall have no other gods. Do not take my name in vain. You shall honor your parents. Remember Shabbat. No killing or stealing or adultery or coveting. But there's some midrashim that say that the people there, they didn't even hear more than the very first letter of the first word. Their souls were just completely blown out of their bodies at every word. And it was a life-changing experience, and really continued to subtly affect how they were going to live for the days afterward, and the weeks afterward, and the months and years and decades and centuries. And it's still really affecting us now as we understand that event. There's a Hasidic teaching, a story about Reb Zusia, that he was very in tune to this sentence we hear over and over in the Torah, and God spoke. And sometimes he would just think, wow, the idea of God speaking, just the thought of that divine voice would overwhelm him. And he would have to be taken out of there. And one day he really prayed, according to this story. He really prayed and prayed. He wanted to hear that actual voice. And suddenly he heard it, and he went running away and hid because of the magnitude of it. But this is what a transformative experience can be by its power. And so we have this tradition that we quote in all kinds of different places, that the Torah was black fire written on white fire. And what does it mean that it was black fire written on white fire? What is it saying? It's saying that the Torah was fire. It wasn't just a book, but it was written with fire, it was written on fire, even the foundation of it was alive. It was all alive and real. And the religion should transform us, should be alive, it should be powerful, it should change us. And that those moments that come and transform us and affect us, and that change how we think and how we walk in the world, and how we treat the people we love and how we treat the people we don't love, how they refine our character, and they help us to recommit to living lives of holiness and of changing the world. And these experiences are what bring that black fire and that white fire into our lives and make the wisdom of our tradition ever vital and new for us. And they shake up our lives, and they shake up our souls, and they bring us the joy of renewal, of spiritual renewal, and they transform us for the better. Shabbat Shalom.